actually, swarming time is a time you'll spend more time in the hive examining the frames. I'll show you real quick how you can spend less time in the hive looking for queen cells. It reduces it down to that 5-minute time too. Okay.
So
if you find queen cells, then you need to spend more time in the hive. Okay. Because you're either going to remove them or you're going to open up the brood nest somewhat so the queen has more space to lay in. By providing her drawn comb that she can immediately start laying eggs in, takes the pressure off of the hive. A lot of people add a super on top. For example, they'll put new comb up on top. They think they've given the bees room, but they've given the bees room, but not the queen room. And often cells will have honey in them, so she can't lay an egg in a cell.
That's happening to me.
Okay, so when that happens, the bees do prepare to swarm, even though there's room up on top.
Can you take the frames below with the honey and move them up and put empty ones down below?
You can, but the bees have to draw foundation out.
Well, yes.
And she doesn't have a place to lay eggs again quickly. And so it may or may not work. Depends on how much honey flow is coming in and how quickly they can build wax to produce the drawn comb.
So mostly she just needs empty, drawn-out cells
She
next to
needs
her.
empty cells, someplace to put eggs.
Okay.
And basically, that is the trigger that starts the impulse to swarm, and that is the brood nest is being restricted because the bees are storing honey in the brood nest. That leaves fewer cells for the queen to lay eggs in. Supposedly she's already got brood in the frames, so she has to hunt hard to find a place to put an egg. The bees will start building these queen cell cups at the bottoms of the frames. She'll even lay in those eggs. Lay eggs in those cells. And the bees then will feed those, become swarm cells. And next thing you know, they're gone. And the bees will swarm before any new queen emerges from any of those cells.
Oh. So if you kill them, you cut them out, you can leave yourself without a queen at all.
Yeah.
Why do you say that?
Because if they've already swarmed. For example, Terry and I had the very good fortune of picking the exact right day to take a look at the We weren't going to do it. We said, oh, we will. So we opened it up, and we found young queens emerging from cells.
Oh, cool.
Really?
So we made 2 hives from 1 hive. But the swarm had already gone. The original queen was gone, with approximately about half of the bees. Now, had we worked on it earlier, we might have been able to have a very good, strong hive and start a split from that hive. What do you do if you don't need any more bees?
Buy more boxes?
Yeah.
Well, the thing you can do is you can move brood up. Still put a queen excluder on and keep the queen up. Not to keep the queen up, but to keep the brood up. So the queen can't go back up there and lay eggs. And move frames down into the brood chamber so she does have a place to lay. And likely, because the queen pheromone spreads through the hive, the super you put up on top is not going to have a lot of queen pheromone. The bees up here are going to be quite distant from the queen down the bottom.
In other words, the pheromone travels up or down part.
The bees actually groom the queen and spread it around themselves through communication. And bees, if you ever see bees, they come up to each other and they'll exchange food and seem to touch feelers and so forth. What they're doing is they're in the process of spreading that pheromone. So you might have the bees in that top super with your brood actually starting a few queen cells. And that is kind of a trick also that we can use out here raising queens with a queen rate colony. Once you start queen cells, in our cell builder hive, we could move those cells into a hive with a queen as long as there's a barrier.
Like a double screen?
Yeah, which queen down below and the place where you have the queen cells developing up here. The bees will not cut them down.
What's that term, double screen?
Two screens.
Two screens together to keep so that bees or queens can't pass
Oh,
through.
neither one can pass through. Okay.
Okay, well let's go. We can carry on this conversation throughout the time that we're looking at hives and bees. I appreciated, John, your comment that, and it kind of scares me, and that is, things get better and better every week. We're going to reach a point where it can't get better.
Well, that's all right.
You know what I mean?
That's where we want to keep it, just like
Uh-huh.
the bees, right on the edge.
We're going to start with this hive here. When we look at our hives, Terry, do you want to be the recorder again?
Sure.
We've got your pen?
Yep.
It is so nice to be able to examine bees and have somebody who will take notes,
Oh, what's on this?
because this is our Russian hive. I'd like to get down on my hands and knees, really, and work my bees. I like to be close to them. And
How come you have the entrance reducer on this?
because this colony was still quite weak when we last examined it, which was about 3 weeks ago, right?
Actually, I looked at that. Still,
Yeah. Okay. The bees are drawing comb out in the top box. I think we had some comb in the bottom box that wasn't drawn, didn't we?
It's drawn.
This is drawn comb. Yeah. So they've got 8 frames in this upper box that is drawn.
Oh, so you're just assuming if they've got the outside ones, they've done the inside ones too?
Yeah. Well, I know they have, because
Oh.
we keep taking the drawn combs and moving them out, and move the undrawn combs to the inside. Just crush a couple
Sound
bees.
of the sound
Now-
of the bee.
Yeah, I heard a couple
Nice.
bees. Now you'll notice that's what the case is here. See the drawn comb on the outside? We take the face of the drawn comb and put it to the outside. And what I'm going to do is remove this comb here, because they need to draw that. I'm not even looking for a queen here. That is drawn. Now they always talk about reversing a hive in the spring of the year. What we're going to do is reverse this hive so that the bees move up and start drawing this comb that's undrawn out. So you've got some comb that needs to be drawn. So what I'm going to do is, I haven't even checked for brood yet. I am going to take the entrance reducer off. Most people are very afraid to work bees. And I see all of you have got basically no bee veils. But you've got to have enough sense to have a bee veil available. Because if the bees do start stinging, it's just stupid to stand up there and let them continue to sting.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. We will store that. I want to just check one frame. I don't need to check a lot of frames. All I need to do is check one frame.
You're looking for brood
And so I already know that Terry did this the other day. So there are some eggs. There's developing larvae, and there's capped brood.
Oh.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.